fellow pen lovers and stationery enthusiasts, it's Christy here, Snarky Wordsworth over on Instagram and Reddit, and today I have a viewer requested video. This one comes from Anekame2. She requested a flip through of my everyday carry, and here it is. So this is what I'm currently using as my everyday carry. It is a Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook in the passport size. This is in the olive colorway, but it's not the original 2017 limited edition. I did not jump aboard that boat back in the day. This is the newer re-release that's just part of their standard line, and I do really, really like it. Mine did not have that new Bucky feel to it when I got it, so I went ahead and conditioned it, and I really, really love the feel of it now. It was a little bit dry out of the package, and it is just fantastic now. I absolutely love this thing, and I love the color. I had also had someone ask the difference between the olive and the brown because mine is so much darker. One, it is quite dark because I conditioned it. That will make the leather a bit darker, but it is lighter than the brown. You can see there is definitely a distinct difference. There is a green tone to this one, whereas this is just brown. This one is I want to say a 2018. So I have actually been using the Traveler's Passport size as an everyday carry in 2018, but this one is a little bit different than the original everyday carry system that I used. Originally, I used a pretty minimal version of the bullet journal. So I had tons of stuff in every single insert, and then I hated the fact that I'd get through a book, and then if I continued onward, I'd always have to hunt down the old book to look up information. It was just kind of a hot mess. I loved the size of it. I loved so much about this, but it just was a huge hassle. I wasn't loving it. So then in late 2022, I happened on a video by Lindsay Scribbles. I'll pop, if I can find this specific video, I'll link that, but otherwise I'll just link her channel down below in the description. But she had this really cool system where she had an annual book. And so all of the information that she would want to look up over and over again, she had in one book, and then in the other one, she just sort of had the day-to-day logs and things like that, which that seemed fantastic to me. And I actually started using that system in that late 2022, and I've been in that ever since. I actually did away with the more traditional log, and now the secondary book for me is just pretty much a food log and then sometimes to-do lists. But other than that, that's the only thing in that second log. That first one, however, is my touchstone. It's full of collections, lists, things that are interesting to me at the time, and I really like it. It makes me want to stay engaged with that particular book, and so it's easy to keep up with. I don't have to track down old books anymore. I use it for 1 year and then flip out to the next year. It's worked really, really well for me ever since 2022. So that is what I am doing. So flip through now. Okay. So, of course, like I said, the outside of this is a Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook. And then inside, holding my two inserts, is a Galen leather wallet insert. I don't use this as my wallet. I actually use it as sort of a catch-all for all of the little bits and pieces that I want. But even more than the little bits and pieces, I got it because I wanted this pen loop, this thing with the little elasticized other end. I knew that I would fall in love with this thing, and I don't swap out the pen. I always use my Kaweco Sport in the brass. I love this pen. It is one of my favorites. I use it literally every day. I have it in extra fine. And I don't really swap out the inks too much in this. It's like a cycle between Fuyusyogun from Pilot Iroshizuku, Vinta's Armada, and occasionally I'll fill it with, like Earl Grey from Diamine, but generally more of those like rich grays and sort of charcoal colors. And I don't veer away from that. I don't use like particularly bright colors or anything like that in this particular book. But I love that there is that elasticized section on the loop so that it holds my pen very snugly. I don't really love using the Kaweco Sport clips just because I feel like they snag a lot and I don't need to use it with the elasticized band, at least not yet. The elastic has been holding up really, really well. I've had this insert for about 1.5 years and it still works really, really well. You can definitely see the patina starting to happen a little bit more. I just really, really like it. In this front slip pocket, or secretarial pocket, I guess, I have a random receipt right now. I have not cleaned this thing out. A punch card for a coffee shop that I like to go to. I just started a new one. And then this, if you are a Tombow brush pen user, these things are really, really useful if you're trying to track what markers you have and what you don't have. I actually need to reprint because this is getting kind of ragged, but I love bringing this everywhere with me because then I can pop into an art shop and see if they happen to have a color that I don't own at the time and then pick it up. Or if I need, a replacement, I'll sometimes make a little note and then just reprint and recolor in for the new one. But I really, really like this. It's very, very helpful. Behind there, in the card slots, I have a Barnes & Noble card, and then I have 2 coffee gift cards. If you can't guess, I'm a little bit caffeine addicted. Trying not to be. I try to do just 1 caffeinated beverage a day. Sometimes I'm successful, most times I'm not. But I put cards in here that I don't necessarily need to grab for every moment, but that I do grab for regularly. And then I just have this super cute Boba is Life sticker from a friend who just bought me a ton of boba paraphernalia, and this is just really, really cute. So outside of that, now we get to the bread and butter of my system. This is my collections list and notes for 2024. It's just in, I believe this is a Goulet dotted notebook, I'm pretty sure, because it's the 68 GSM. I'm 100% sure about that. Front cover, I just have, this is one of the Midori plastic paper clips. I just think they're really cute. I don't love them. I actually really, really like the Oto Smile clips more, but it's just a really cute clip. So I use it because it works. And it just does its job. It does its job. This is my cat Moo. Then everyday carry. I'm not so much with the decor, especially not in my collections book. I generally am just pretty minimal, just straight facts, things like that. The first 3 pages I have as set up as index. I always put 3 pages of index just in case I'd start to get crazy and start doing just one side of a page with important facts, but I'm almost always in a double page spread, but just in case. My first little section is a Happy Mail tracker. So when I have a package that's outstanding, I write it down and then I put the date that it shipped, and then I just put a check mark once it lands. My general wish list. It's just a rolling list of rando stuff that I want. Sometimes it's stationery related, sometimes it's not. I do tend to lean in that direction, but sometimes I've put other things, like I needed an ice maker at one point, so I put down ice maker. Things like that. Fountain pen wish list. So this is ever evolving. This year, if you watched my pen goals, I'm just trying to be much more mindful about pen and stationery purchasing. I'm not on a low buy or a no buy or anything like that. It's just really working on only picking up things that I've really thought about and that I really know will add to my personal aesthetic and the collection that I'm trying to build. So you'll see, I have some things that have been on here forever. I 100% am going to pick up the VP stripes at some point this year. That's one of my big things that I want. But sometimes I'll go through things and I'll decide I don't actually want that model. I want something else. So it just goes, I just cycle through and I'll scratch off things when they've moved off of my list, but then I'll fill in the little circle if I purchase them. And that happens a lot. And there's nothing about the pens that I've scratched off that is a negativism, because there's some pens from companies I absolutely adore that I've scratched out simply because I discovered I actually really like this particular model from them. I don't really know that I will enjoy this one, or I don't like some feature or whatever. So yeah, fountain pen wish list. Ink wish list. This is the bane of my existence because I love ink and I buy altogether too much. And this has probably been the hardest part of my mindful collections year so far. I've been really good. I've only had 2 particularly sizable hauls of ink this year. And I put off the other ones. I'm like, I don't need this ink right now. I will wait until such and such, or I will wait for a sale from such and such. But then I see someone post on Instagram a new color that I know is absolutely up my alley, and it just throws everything off. But this is always evolving. You'll notice there are no inks that have been totally scratched off, because I've never met an ink that I didn't really still want deep down inside. But yeah, I have just started another ink wish list further along. And yeah, because you can see it's already full. Fountain pens purchased. I do want, as I said, to be mindful about the pens I'm buying. So I thought like having a physical list of pens that I have purchased so far will actually help. And it really has. I've been able to go back and look and just sort of reference, oh, okay, I've fulfilled this particular want or need or whatever. And I just put the date that I purchased it and the name of the pen. Sometimes I've been putting prices when I thought it was of note. Pen and planner vloggers. I am terrible about keeping up with this because I have so many more people. So if you happen to be watching this video and your name is not on here, but you know I watch your videos, because I do try and comment on pretty much everybody's videos if I'm watching, I am sorry. But I did go through a few weeks ago and just tried to update this as much as possible. But yeah, I really wanted a record of all the pen and planner vloggers that I view that's physical and that I can see and that I can just sort of track, because I just didn't have that, and it's kind of difficult to keep track for me anyway on YouTube itself. So thus the pen and planner vloggers. And it's a nice way that I can reference if someone's asking, hey, is there somebody I should be looking at? And I'm like, yes, this is my list. Check them all out. They're awesome. I am terrible at this as well. Movies watched 2024. So yeah, I'm just really bad at this. I'm not going to lie. I keep track of television shows, or K-dramas really, let's be honest. But I don't do really well with the movies. I've watched probably at least twice as many as this shows, but so let that be a lesson. If you do plan on tracking movies or TV shows or anything like that, books, fanfic, write it down right away afterwards. Otherwise, you just might forget. Or perhaps it's my old brain pan that can't hold on to that information. But yeah, those are gone. This is these are the only things that I like definitely remember and what dates they were. But other than that, it's all gone. Television shows watched 2024. This I am actually much better at. I don't get to watch a ton of stuff simply because I have a lot of stuff going on, but I do really love Korean and Chinese dramas and Japanese dramas, but they're harder to come by. But yeah, I only watch a couple of Western shows, but they're on here as well. And I just do, if it's in this sort of lovely beige color, it's the first time watching. If it's in green, it's a rewatch. I have not rewatched anything, but I'm sure I will before the end of the year, just to remind myself of stuff like, you know, All of Us Are Dead season 2, I believe, is coming out this year. I'm not 100%, but I will probably go back and rewatch the first season just to catch up and remind myself of what's going on. But yeah, so that's my television shows watched 2024. So far, everything has been a pretty minimal sort of tracker, right? But I do really enjoy visual trackers too. It's just they take more time, and I'm not, as I mentioned, always great about stuff like that. But for the like subscriber tracking, it always feels really good when I get to fill in one of these little YouTube icons. So I started tracking my YouTube subscribers like this one. Thank you very much for subscribing if you were part of this lovely little sea of red. And once I got to the end of this, I made another one. But this is really helpful for me. And like I said, every time I fill in a little icon with that red, it makes me feel like a really nice sense of accomplishment. So thank you for being part of that. Tea tracker. So in addition to really loving coffee, I absolutely am obsessive about tea, and good tea at that. I'm not super bougie about it. If like it's a drugstore brand of tea that happens to be good, I don't care. It's good. So yay. But yeah, I try and track every time I've had something new. I do tend to gravitate towards teas that I know and love, which is why this list is pretty short for this year. But I do have a couple that I'm planning on picking up in a couple of weeks for my birthday. But yeah, I try to be brutally honest. Like this one tea that I just had today, it was not good. It wasn't terrible, but it was not good. So it gets a 5. But other than that, I'm just, like I said, I try to remind myself of the tea's name and then the big notes that it hits. Like today's was slightly muddy tasting, not floral. And I was definitely expecting floral because it was lavender. So anyway, tea tracker. These little cards I use as my blotting paper. They're just cardstock, double-sided cardstock, but they work really, really nicely. That's also a good like page marker too, since you only get the one string in the Traveler's Company notebooks. But yeah, I swap them out when they get too grody, but this one's still pretty nice. And it's nice because you can customize, because you can pick whatever kind of double-sided paper you want. After that, I've got promotional codes from friends. This is just a nice little page that I continually reference. By the way, if you have a promotional code that you think I should add, definitely comment and let me know. But yeah, so I love this because it just is a good, even reminder so that I can always have a promotional code anytime I do happen to make an order. Inks purchased and received. You can see here, as mentioned, I only have made the 2 big ink hauls, so just the 2 entries. Okay, next up is my video game spread. I am not like a hardcore video gamer. I've been gaming since I was a really small kid. Like we had like the Famicom system and everything. We actually have like Intellivision, stuff like that. So video gaming has been a part of my life for several decades. But at this point, like, while I'm very passionate about a couple of games, I'm not like hardcore about any of them. I play like Animal Crossing pretty religiously and Stardew Valley and stuff like that. But I also really enjoy other like small indie games. I guess I'm a big cozy gamer at this point, though I do love any Zelda game ever, or things like that. But yeah, so you can see there are a lot of like games that I am interested in, but probably will never purchase, but I do pick up some of them. By the way, if you're looking for really fun, low-key productivity software, Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions is lovely. But yeah, so I do have a Switch, but I play a lot on my computer as well. So there's that. But a video games wish list is always a nice idea for a spread. Here's that second list of YouTube subscriber goals that I was mentioning before. Song obsessions. I tend to have songs that I will play on repeat for weeks on end, and then I'll move along. But I thought it might be fun to keep track of those and then like see what cycles back and forth over time. I had never been one to track my Instagram subs, but I figured I really like these spreads, so why not? So I do like the pink and the purple. I think this is really cute. And yeah, it's just another visual tracker. And so I do feel, quite a bit of accomplishment every time I get to fill in one of the squares. And then here's the secondary ink wish list, just because I used up all the space in the first one. I have not delved into this one yet, but I will be shortly, because Lau over at Kenchan Crafts just did a whole video on Lennon Toolbar inks. So yep, this looks like this will get filled up pretty fast. Anyway, that is pretty much it so far, and it will continue to be filled, and then more pages will come in as lists get filled as well. But the main thing is I have this one book with collections and lists every year, and I don't have to double back and look for any more information. It's all self-contained, and it's really, really useful. I also always have like a little homemade dashboard. I try and have at least one set of really fun Post-its. This one is from, who are you from? I don't even remember. I'll have to, if I can track it down, I will put it in the description below, but they make the cutest. It's way too people-y out here. How fabulous is that, right? And then just a slightly more ordinary Post-it below there. One side is the dashboard side that has like the little glossy bit. And then the other side can be used as blotting paper because I don't have the glossy bit on that. And this is my food log and to-do list. I try and keep track of everything I eat. I have weird food sensitivity issues, so this just helps me in order to figure out if I have a poor reaction to something, what it might be. Sometimes it'll be things that never bothered me before. I never know. It's always an exciting day in the world of food for me. Anyhow, that's this book. I'm not going to show you just because it's pretty boring. It's just lists of food and to-dos, but that's what's in this one. This is the back half of the Galen leather wallet insert. I have my immunization card in the back, and then here I just have business cards from my work. I'm a librarian. I run a lot of I do a lot of one-on-one instructs, like teaching people how to use electronic book readers and Libby and things like that. So I give up my card a lot. In the back pocket, I don't really carry much cash, so I always put like a couple of bills in the back just for tip situations. I always try and give cash tips. I know when I waited tables, I always preferred cash. I just have a couple bits for if I want to like fancy any particular spread up. I have not yet. Then there's a little bit of washi. You never know when you're going to use washi. And I know somewhere in here, let's see. There they are. I always keep these rose gold teardrop paper clips. I love the way these look, but they can cause like sort of that metal mark to go on things. So I don't love that. I usually will try and insert a little slip of paper if I'm going to put it on like, say, any leather bits. But they are really nice and they do hold very well. So yeah, that is what is in my little back zipper pocket. And then there's just the back fold, the elastic. And then I do always keep one of these Traveler's Company brass clips with me. It just helps when I've got a spread that I'm working on, and I just will usually do that. And it stays open. It's nice. But yeah, I really like them, and they're very, very helpful. So yeah, that was my everyday carry flip through. I hope it wasn't too terribly boring. I know it was chatty as all get out. Anakame 2, was that what you were looking for? If anybody has any questions about anything that you saw in here, any of the spreads, any of the materials or products, please pop those questions in the comments below. If you have any opinions about anything or recommendations, like I said, if you have promo codes, let me know those. I'd love to keep track. Just pop me a line if you just want to start a conversation about everyday carries and what you use. I'd love to hear about that too. I'm always interested in hearing what other people do in their day-to-day sort of journaling, just because it's always interesting, don't you think? So yeah, if this video was in any way entertaining, useful, helpful, whatever, please do consider giving me a like or potentially even subscribing to the channel. As always, thank you so much for joining me. If you've made it to the end of this very long video, thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye-bye.